John, you've done a lot of things in cycling. You've seen a transition from the technological side of things, but also from the Aussie side of things as well, with so many more Australians now involved at the pointy end in elite competition. You've had a fair bit to do with a lot of them on the way through, but when you were riding, back in the dark old ages, it wasn't quite penny farthing, but the technology wasn't what it was now.
No, it's interesting you say that because when I raced in Europe as a pro, there was not 10 English-speaking riders in the whole peloton, probably 7 or 8. And 3 of them were Aussies, you know. So it's been now it is the language of the European peloton. And I was very fortunate that my dad had been a pro cyclist, but he was way ahead of his time. He knew how to read the body and understand all that. So I got taught that really young, on how to train and get the best out of yourself, how to train hard, take your heart rate and things like that. So what they're doing now, a lot of that I was able to do, which was
so that amazing. Sports science was around in that.
Yeah, not so much
primitive form.
In a primitive form, but really it taught me that stuff very, very early.
But the bikes themselves.
Well, the bikes themselves have changed. I mean, I could tell you, the position's the same. It's just they were heavier. You know, the steel frames weren't as light as these carbon fibre frames now, but the position we actually rode is still exactly the same. And we're all on the same heavier bike, so it probably didn't make that much difference. I'd love to have had my carbon fibre bike of now, back then, that would have made a huge difference, but we're all about the same. But look, a bike was a bike to me. You know, when I was a youngster, I got a beautiful Italian bike that was too big for me, but I rode it anyway. When I won my first Australian road title, I should have been on a 20-inch frame. I was on a 22-inch frame, but you put the seat down a bit, whatever. But I can remember it was an Australian road title, the one I won in Tassie, the day before the race. We were about to fly over. I went for a bit of a ride and broke I had an aluminium Allen frame, and it broke. Oh, what am I going to do? My brother had this brand new Flandria frame he just got from Belgium. Beautiful thing, fraction small for me. I said, I have to borrow that. So I grabbed that frame, took my bike, we put it together that night and the morning. My first ride was riding out to the start in Launceston. But I loved it. Even though it was a fraction small, I loved it. Of all the bikes I wish I had have kept, that's the one. Flandria, it was just a beautiful thing. And I won that Aussie road title on it. And I wouldn't give it back to my brother. I said, you have to order another one, mate. I'm keeping this. And I did keep it for a while, but then you get a team bike, whatever. And I don't know what happened to it. If anyone comes across a Flandria bike from about the 70s, I'll buy it now.
One of the great ones, obviously. What about the Aussies you raced with or you've mentored and you've seen come through?
Oh, gee, well, I've been fortunate. You know, I've done 20 Tours de France. I'm on 21st Tour de France we go this year. So I've watched all of the, the Cadels and that go through, and the Robbies and the Stewies. Been close with Stewie. I was lucky enough to race against Phil Anderson in his last year, in my last year, in his first year. And he was something else. And he was just this raw, amazing talent. And everyone thought he would win the Tour de France. He wasn't a natural climber, but he was just so strong and so much talent. Probably a bit unlucky that he never won it. I think he finished 5th twice, but won over 100 races. So back when it just didn't happen. So first non-European to wear the yellow jersey, to watch all of that. And then there was a bit of a gap, and then you had the Stewies and the Robbies, who were something else. So such a great performers. Still in a time where it was hard for an Australian to get into a top European team, but just started to change a bit. But and now you look, all Australians are looked on as this breeding ground. European teams, if they see an Australian, they'll grab them because they know it's the right culture. They know they're going to be clean, and they know they're not tainted. And so we've got this wonderful reputation.
Do you reckon you could have won the Tour de France?
No, I wasn't good enough mountain climber to win the Tour de France. But, if I had been a bit more... Look, if I never took it serious enough, but would have been a good chance to race for a green jersey and win some stages, but I never rode the Tour de France, so it's a big if.
Another big if.
Another big if, yeah.